Hello and welcome to Lorbeck Luxury Cars. I'm Harry and on this edition of the Friday Drive, we're doing a proper Friday Drive. Yes, we're back. And to kick things off, I thought we'd do something very interesting. Well, a car that's very interesting and a car that I've always wanted to drive. And it's this, our 2008 Dodge Viper SRT-10. Now, there are a few things that make this car iconic, starting with the styling. I mean, it looks like an absolute beast and it's absolutely massive, this car. You wouldn't confuse it with a sports car for a second. It is pure muscle. So let's start with the muscle. Now, under the bonnet is an 8.4 litre, yes, you heard that right, 8.4 litre, 600 horsepower V10. Now this is mated up to a 6-speed manual transmission, and if all done correctly, this behemoth of a car will get from 0 to 100 in just 3.6 seconds. But in any event, let's stop talking and let's just get it on the road and see what this thing will do. The fourth generation of the Viper comes with a host of upgrades and improvement that go beyond the power upgrade. The fourth generation is fitted with a new exhaust system which gives it the soundtrack a car like this deserves. But given the speed limits are struggling to hear, it also has a new transmission, vented bonnet and new differential to improve the handling further. And speaking of handling, you're probably asking what it's like. Well, it's no Mazda MX-5, let's just get that out of the way in the first instance. It's a car of many quirks, this thing. I mean, the torque, you've just got no idea. It doesn't matter where it is in the rev range, this thing just pulls. It's unbelievable. I've never come across a car that pulls quite like this one. And what's even more amusing is, and this is no word of a lie, you can actually see the fuel gauge go down. It loves a drink, this car. And I'm not going to lie, let's just be honest about the foibles of this car. I mean, the interior is surprisingly cramped for a car this big, and it doesn't have what you'd call many luxuries. I mean, I've got air conditioning, no climate control, a radio, a few gauges, and that's about it. There's really nothing to distract you in this car, unless you're outside of it, of course. It's actually a really intimidating car to drive. I mean, there's just absolutely no way I can demonstrate what this car can do in any safe or legal way. I mean, the extraordinary thing is that even in first gear, once you redline it, you're going way over the speed limit around here anyway. So it's a little bit frustrating, I've got to be honest. And the other thing that's sort of pretty important to note is how well they've done the conversion in this car. I mean, so often you see these converted cars and they're just rubbish, let's put it that way. This one, all the bits and pieces look like they came from the factory. I don't know how they managed to do it, but I'll tell you what, they've done a very, very good job. But just coming back to the driving experience again, it's a very strange car to sort of describe because, I mean, the inertia of that massive engine means you have to change gears quite slowly because it takes so long for the revs to sort of drop down. And the steering is very, very sort of meaty, if you like. And the transmission, you've really got to have a bit of strength about you to do it. And the pedals and the clutch and everything's heavy in this car. It feels so hairy chested, and it just sort of adds to the, I guess, the intimidation factor, the drama of driving a car that looks like this. It's a car that knows exactly what it is. It is totally unapologetic about being simply a beast designed to intimidate and stir up emotion you don't get in a European or Japanese car. It is just awesome. And finished in this striking snakeskin green with the black racing stripes, this is a car you don't drive if you want to keep a low profile. You're going to get noticed in this car. And I have to be honest, I mean, we haven't done a Friday Drive for quite some time, but I'm struggling to remember a car that turns heads and gets people talking quite like this car. It's just a showman, this car. It is a very, very funny car, and I really love it. It's a cool car. And given its collector car status, this is an appreciating asset, especially given this example's as-new car condition, superb right-hand drive conversion by Mustang Motorsport, and a super low 17,874 miles from new. So if you're in the market for this American icon, I'm afraid you're too late because this spectacular example sold within hours of going up online last week. So you'll have to get in touch with us today so we can let you know when we get another example of the Dodge Viper. We'll see you next week. Woo! you.